All right, what's up, City of Tolleson Parks and Recreation, and any other viewers watching? My name is Joey Smeriglio. I am the education coordinator for Parks and Rec, and basically what I do is a whole bunch of STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Python programming. Actually, our whole series is going to be about Python programming. In today's video, though, it's going to be a little more specific, and we're going to talk about print formatting. Print formatting is basically using numbers and strings, which are Python programming terms, which you'll see in this video. Now, in the description box just under this video, you'll notice that some of your supplies, if that's what you want to call it, you're going to need to download Python. Python is a programming language that's been around since the 1990s. It's a very respected and very well-known programming language. It's actually one of the more popular ones, and it's one of my favorites. I absolutely love coding in Python, and I'm going to really love teaching this class. Now, if you are someone that knows me in Parks and Rec, you actually come to our center. You know that we've never really programmed in Python. I think I might have shown a couple things. So this is going to be really exciting to actually code. Um, so to get the language, the programming language, you can go onto www.python.org, and that's going to be Python's real website. You can even go into Google and just in the search bar, you can type in Python programming download. It'll take you right to the website. Once you get on their official website, right in the center, it's like right in your face, there's a yellow button. And it says download Python 3.8.5. That's Python's latest version. If you were to scroll down on the main screen, you'll see all of the latest versions when they keep updating them, and it starts at like 2001, although Python's been around since the 90s, like I said. So you're just going to go ahead and click that yellow tab. I already have Python, so I can't really show you the steps to get to it. But when you download it, you're just going to hit yes and hit install, and then it's going to bring you to this white screen. This white screen is kind of like Microsoft Word, where you get a blank document. Let's say you're writing an essay for school. It's blank, and in the top left corner, you would write your name, maybe the date, the class you're in, your grade you're in, and so on and so forth. And instead of writing an essay, we're going to be writing a code. Before I start typing, I just want you to know that if you hear the clicks of my keyboard, I'm just going to go ahead and click. I actually have a gaming keyboard. Basically, it's just one of those. It sounds like an old typewriter. My keyboard is through a company called Razer, which is like a gaming company, and I just happen to love this keyboard. Maybe one day I'll go ahead and share some pictures of my setup. I built my own computer. I have gaming monitors, a gaming mouse and laptop. Um, so anyway, if you hear it clicking, that's just because it's a specialized laptop, and I'm really sorry if it's annoying. But anyway, to start our program, we're going to go ahead and we're going to write hashtags. So if you hit Shift 3, you're going to get hashtags. I like to make a whole bunch. That's probably enough. Hit Enter. Do another hashtag. I think this should be good. I think maybe another line. And then I'm just going to go ahead. I like to make sure they're even, 100%. Looks even. Now on this third line, so in programming, each line you do is a number. So this is line number 1. This one single hashtag is line number 2, line number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it'll be so on when you actually write your code. So over here, we're going to write on the third line, we're going to type print formatting, because that's what we're learning and doing. We are doing all the print formatting in our code. On this line, basically it's just under where we wrote print formatting, we're going to type in gas station receipt. That's because we're making a gas station receipt. And then we're going to just type fall 2020, or if you're watching this at a later time, then you'd maybe put spring 2020, or whenever you're writing it. I happen to be doing it in fall 2020, so that's what I'm going with. But this is kind of what it's going to look like. The reason why we're doing a gas station receipt is because I think with the math that we're going to do, it's not necessarily so much math, but we're going to import math where it kind of does it for us, and we're going to write the strings for that. I think this is a really great program to start out, which, by the way, if you are watching another video, I know this is video number 1, I would highly suggest starting in this one. Each time there's a new video, you'll hear me say that this is video number 3 or 4, and I'm always going to suggest that you start out with video number 1. Although you could work at different numbers, different numbered videos, that's totally fine, but you might find yourself just a little more confused, and each video will build you up as a better programmer in Python, and just to understand more or better as we go on. So again, this is video number 1, and it's going to be print formatting, and we're making a gas station. So let's imagine this. Let's pretend that you just got hired, you work in a company, and you work for a gas station called, I'm going to name it Chevron, because I love going to Chevron. So you just got hired for Chevron, and you work in the IT department. If you don't know what IT stands for, that means information technology. So let's say you go ahead and work for the technology department, and your boss comes up to you and asks you to write a program to make a receipt for the company and for the customer. So basically, when they go and pay for gas as the customer, when you're finished paying, a receipt will come out of the pump that will tell you where you bought your gas, how much you bought your gas at, where it was, the local time, and all that. So that way, if in a real life situation, if there would be any problems, maybe you bought gas and you didn't get as much gas as you paid for, you could go into the store and say, hey, I think there's a problem, and all the details and specifics will be there, which would help the customer and the store owner and the company a lot. So anyway, we're just going to pretend that we work for the IT department and we're making a gas station receipt. So all of these hashtags are basically your notes. In our case, it's our upper left corner where, like in Microsoft Word, we would write our name and the date. This just kind of lets us know what we're doing. So print formatting gas station. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. I'm going to do it 2 times, and I'm going to do another hashtag, and I'm going to type in the word imports. This means that we are importing, these hashtags are going to be imports, and we're going to be using it as notes. So basically, when we write our code, we're going to be importing little notes that will help us. Sometimes when you're in class, if you write a note, like you could say project coming up, and you might make a little description of that project, and then on the right side, you might say due on Friday. In our case, in Python, we're going to write a little note on the side that would explain what our code is, so that way, if anything were to happen, maybe there's a syntax error or you wrote something wrong, we might know where to find it, and even still, we just kind of know how our code is structured to help us go back in and fix things or make things better. So after you type in imports, you're going to go ahead and hit enter 2 times. We're going to write the word import. We're going to hit the space bar, and we're going to type in math. And then I like to space about 5 times, so we're going to hit space. I'm going to do another hashtag. we're going to write a note that says this allows the use of math. We're not going to be writing any equations. We're not doing that today, but we are going to be needing some sort of math, and you'll see that later on. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. We're going to do import again. Hit the space bar, and we're going to type in the word time. And again, oops. We're going to go ahead and hit hashtag, and this might surprise you, or we're going to put this allows the use of time. We're going to hit enter again. Just once, we're actually going to do an X value and a Y value. X representing the math, we're going to set that to 0. Y representing time. So you're going to do, actually I saw an X. This is actually going to be equals. There we go. Sometimes I type and talk at the same time, and I forget how things are getting typed out. So X being math, Y being time, they're both set to 0 because, again, we don't have a specific number in this code for math, and we don't have a specific time. In our case, time is going to be the local current time when you run your module. So after we write all of our code, when it comes down, we're going to hit up here, we're going to click run and run module. Another screen will come up, and then it'll do the math for us. So we're going to go ahead and keep that at 0 because we're not actually making a specific number. We're going to hit enter 2 times, and then we're going to do a hashtag again to write ourselves a little note, and we're going to put different variables for input. When that's done, we're going to go ahead and hit enter 2 times, and now we're going to write our variable. So we're going to do station, and then we're going to hit space equals space. We're going to put input. It's going to come up purple. You're going to need a parenthesis. That parenthesis is going to be black. And we're going to do a little quotation. That's going to be green along with your sentence. We're going to type in, what is the name of the station? We're going to finish it off with a question mark, quotation mark, and a parenthesis. The reason why we're doing it as a question mark is because on our code, when we run our module, it's going to ask us the question, and then we type in what the name of the station is. All right. So now we're going to hit enter. We're going to type location, space equals space. We're going to do input again. And then we're going to do the parenthesis, the quotation mark, and we're going to type in, where is the station located? Oops. Where is the station located? We're going to do a question mark, the quotation mark, and then the parenthesis. And then we're going to hit enter again. We're going to put, we're going to type, T-Y-P-E equals, or space equals space input. And we're going to go ahead with a parenthesis and quotation mark again. And we're going to put, what type of gas are you going to use? And then over here, we're going to put cost, but we're going to put cost 1. You're going to want to make sure that's one word. You're not going to do it at cost space 1. You just want cost 1. So we're going to go ahead and hit space equals input. And then we're going to write, don't forget your parenthesis and quotation mark. How much does this gas cost? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a question mark, but we are not gonna do the quotation mark. So we're gonna do the question mark, and we're gonna come in with a parenthesis facing the other way, and we're gonna write no symbols, please. The reason behind that is because when we run our module and it asks us how much is gas going to cost, we're going to type in a number, and Python does not know the money symbol. So that's why we're just going to leave it blank. So we're going to come in and finish it with a parenthesis. Then we're going to go ahead and go with another quotation mark and another parenthesis. The reason because when you do the parentheses when it comes to no symbols, that's not finishing the input. So what finishes the input is seeing that black parenthesis at the end. So if you have a black parenthesis at the beginning, you want to make sure it's at the end as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and now we're going to do cost 2 space equals space input. Now for this one, we're going to write how many gallons are you going to fill up. We're going to do a question mark again, and just like cost 1, we're going to go ahead and do a parenthesis the opposite way and type in no symbols, please. We're going to go ahead, finish that with a parenthesis, a quotation mark, and another parenthesis. Remember, if it starts out black, you want to finish it black. We're going to hit enter, and now we're going to type receipt. We're going to hit the space bar, the equal sign, space again, and instead of typing in input, we're going to go ahead and go with a question mark, and we're going to type in the total cost per gallon, and finish it off with a quotation mark. Now, we're going to hit enter. This might be a little tricky, so follow along as best as you can. So we're going to type in local time, except it's going to be one word. Do not do local, hit the space bar, and type in the word time. You want it to be one exact word, so local time. Then you're going to hit the space bar, hit equals, space again. Now you're going to write time dot, which is the period. You're going to write ASC time, all one word again. So ask time, parenthesis, space, time dot time, which time dot time is I'm actually sorry, it's time dot local time. Parenthesis facing the opposite way. This is where you do time dot time. Like I said, I know it's tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick pause. You could even pause the video if you need to, but I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick pause, check my work to make sure I'm correct, and also allow you to catch up and check what you need to. Alright, so now that I've checked and you are checked, I hope, we're going to go ahead and hit enter again. Now this is where we are going to be printing. When we run our module and it asks us questions, it needs to print those questions on our screen. So we're going to go ahead and type in the word print. You don't need to space. We're going to do a parenthesis for the quotation mark. And then we're going to go ahead with our underscores. I'm going to make it just a little bit over, nothing crazy. I'm going to go ahead and extend it just a little bit more than over here where it says no symbols, please. And then at the end, I'm going to hit the space bar 5 times. You don't need to hit it 5 times. You could do it maybe 2 or 3, but give yourself some room. So you could write a little note. My note is going to say, this is the beginning of the receipt. Because it is. This is the beginning of the receipt. So if there is any problems with my code, or now I know where the structure is, I know that, well, this is the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and we're going to print again, and we're going to say receipt, because this is the receipt. Hit enter again. We're going to type the word print. This is where it kind of gets repetitive, but not so much. Now, when you make this line, I like to make sure it is equal with all the other prints. So if this first one is this size, then you're going to make all the other prints this size. So now we're going to hit the space bar again. I like to do it 5 times. And this is going to be for the date. So now we're just going to print. We're going to go ahead with a parenthesis and a quotation mark. Today is. Because we need to know the date. So you're going to go ahead and finish it. You're going to do today is, you're going to use a colon, a quotation mark, and a parenthesis. The reason why you're using a colon is because this is where you're going to be typing in, this is where it's going to tell today's date. So that's why we're leaving it blank, because every time you run your module, it's going to be current to the exact day you do this. So there is no set time. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter after today is. Now we're going to type print local current time local current time. Go ahead with a colon again, just like the first one. Actually, instead of that parenthesis, it's going to be a comma, and we're going to type local time. We need that. We need that because on our receipt, it's going to be the current date and time. So I'm just going to go ahead really quick and make sure my code is up to date and everything is good. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to do that as well. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and hit enter. This is where we're going to print. By the way, you can copy and paste if you wanted to. I might do that in the next one just to show you, but for the most part, I just kind of type it. Now over here, we're going to do a hashtag for the station name, because we want to type in the name of where we're going. I like to use Chevron because that's my favorite kind of gas. So now we're going to type in print again, and we're going to print this station is, with the colon again, a little quotation mark, and the parenthesis. This station is because we're going to write the name of our station. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. Type the word print again. We're going to do parenthesis, and we're going to say station, because that's what it is. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. Then we're going to do print. And then we're going to do, I just wanted to make sure I wrote my code right. I know sometimes I could talk and make a couple mistakes. Do that line again. Now this is where we're going to write station location. So we're going to do hashtag station location. Now when we hit enter, this might be surprising, but we're gonna type in print. I hope you took that as a joke. I like to have fun when I code. I know it can be a little repetitive. So anyway, I actually hit space over there. I don't want to do that. I want to keep everything the same. So we're going to hit print. We're going to bring the line. I'm sorry, you don't bring the line in this one. I skipped a line. We're going to actually print. We're going to type in the word location. So we're going to go ahead, parenthesis, location. My apologies. I'm actually going to fix that. I did a space. So if you're following along, you did a space too. I'm just putting it back to make sure it's all even. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And now what we're going to do is put, actually I'm reading my notes, I actually jumped another line. We're not doing location. So if you're following along, I apologize. I went a line a little ahead. We're going to keep that black parenthesis. We're going to erase location. We're going to type in a little quotation mark. We're going to type in this gas station is located in. Then we're going to go with a colon, quotation mark, and the parentheses. So we have this gas station is located in. Then we're going to hit enter. Now this is where we type in print and location. My apologies that I jumped a line. I'm just kind of following my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. That I just happened to jump. So now this is where I'm going to show you. I'm just going to copy and paste this line right here. So you can do it. You can just go copy. Maybe it's easier instead of printing it all. I'm going to go ahead and hit space 5 times. And this is going to be for gas type. So hashtag gas type. Remember, there's different kinds of gas. There's regular, there's supreme, there's diesel. So that's why we're using gas type. We're going to hit enter. Surprisingly, we're going to type print. We're going to go ahead with a parenthesis and a quotation mark. And we're going to write the type of gas. The type of gas. We're actually going to write gasoline. The type of gasoline you purchased is, we're going to go ahead with colon, the quotation marks again, and the parenthesis. Now we're going to hit enter. We're going to type in print again. We do the parenthesis. Now you don't need to do quotation marks for this one. That's totally fine. We're going to type in the word type, T-Y-P-E, and we're going to go ahead and finish it with parenthesis. Now we're going to hit enter. This is where it's a little different. We're going to type in the word cost. So it's a capital C, cost, space, equals, space, float. And the word's going to come up purple. I know we've been seeing black and green for these past prints, and then print itself is purple, but float, the word float is also going to be purple. So float, parenthesis, cost 1. You want to make sure that these are lowercase. Cost 1. Now in math, you know that the little star is multiplication, so you're going to hit Shift 8 to get the multiplication symbol. We're going to type in float again, and then parenthesis, cost 2, and finish it out with the parenthesis. Now I'm going to go ahead and space all the way out and do a hashtag to let me know that the rest of this code is the math behind the cost. So we're almost finished. I promise you we're almost finished. I'm going to go ahead and just take a couple more seconds to let you catch up if you need to, or read. I'm also just going to make sure that this is right, just to make sure both of our codes are correct. Oh, I did notice a mistake. So over at cost 1, I forgot to finish it off with a parenthesis. That's actually really important, so make sure that you also use a parenthesis. All right, so now I'm going to hit enter. We're going to go ahead and type in the word print again, so we're back to kind of square one. We're going to go ahead with the parenthesis, the quotation mark, and then the underscore. I want to make sure it's exactly the same. I think I was too far out. All right. So now after that, now we're going to type in the word print. So you're going to hit enter and go on the next line, type in print, and now you're going to write your total cost in. Now for this one, it's going to be your total cost in money for this transaction. You're going to write the word is, colon, quotation mark, parenthesis. Now for this one, you see this money symbol. You're going to want to do the symbol. I promise you, if you type in the word money itself, M-O-N-E-Y, chances are you'll either make a spelling error or have a capitalized M and then there's lowercase m. It's just easier for the symbol here. Now when we run our module and we type in, when it asks us how much the gas is and we type in a number, that's when we don't want a symbol. But in our actual code, when we write it, it's fine to do that. So I like to do this symbol just because I like to make sure that it's not spelled wrong or anything like that. It's just a simple little thing. So we're almost done. This is our second to last line. We're going to type in print again. Now this is a little tricky. So we're going to do a parenthesis. We're going to do the quotation mark like we've been doing. We're going to do the money symbol again. You want to make sure that the money symbol on the top line is also on the second line on the bottom. So we're going to do two quotation marks, excuse me. Now instead of a parenthesis, you're going to get a bracket. So over on if you look on your keyboard at the very top row with letters, it's your QWERTY. They call it QWERTY keyboard or line. So it's going to be QWERTY, UIOP, and then next to the P, there are brackets. So one is like a square bracket. The other one looks squiggly. So you're going to go ahead and hit Shift bracket for the squiggly one to show up. When you do that, you're going to get the squiggly bracket. Then you're going to do a colon symbol, a period, so a dot, the number 2, and the letter F. You're going to want to make sure that that letter F is lowercase, not capitalized. Then you're going to want to do a squiggly bracket to close it out, so basically the opposite of the first squiggly bracket. Then you're going to do a quotation mark. Then you're going to hit the dot again, or the period, and you're going to write the word format. Now you're going to do a parenthesis. Now you're going to make sure this word cost, you want to make sure that it's capitalized, not lowercase. I can't stress that enough, because if it's not capitalized, then you're going to have a syntax error, meaning when you write your code, it'll go through, but it's not going to show the math. So you're going to want to see that math. So cost, you're going to finish it with a parenthesis. You're going to do one more parenthesis, and you're going to go ahead and do that symbol right there. So once you're done with that, I'm going to give you a second. I know this one is also kind of tricky. I'm going to give you a second to kind of catch up and check it out and fix anything if you need. Alright, so for our last line, our very last line, it's one of my favorites. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this print, or you could write it out yourself however you want, and paste it. And that's all there is to this code. So now, when you're finished, you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit run. You're going to run the module. You could check your code. I know over here, actually, I noticed that I went a little too far. So I like to just make sure things are even, things are spelled right, everything's in their correct order. I'm pretty sure everything is. So this is where you're going to go ahead and go into run. You're going to click run module. You don't want to check module, and you don't want to go into Python shell. So you want to go run module. It's going to say it must be saved. Is that okay? So you're going to hit, yeah, sure, okay. You're going to give it a name. We're going to call it gas station receipt. You could call it whatever you want. I just know that I'm going to call it gas station receipt. I'm going to hit save. Now it's going to run. And now you can see that this is where it's going to ask our question. So over here is all of our code. And then over here is where we will run everything. Now I'm pretty sure from the recording that this screen actually didn't come up. So you're probably just looking at the code. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, but there's going to be a part 2 to this video. So stay tuned and just watch part 2 to video number 1.